Good luck with everything. I hope it works out for you. Twilight begins crying as she rushes out of Starlight's house. Shadow shakes his head as a tear falls from his eye. I'm sorry, my love. As the next morning arrived, Twilight and the rest of the Harnessers of Harmony began their damage assessment report of Ponyville to Princess Celestia. Spike accompanied the girls to get his mind off of Cream and to help photograph some of the destruction left in the wake of the Changeling attack 2 days prior. Luckily, most of Ponyville was spared from total destruction. However, Rarity's boutique was completely destroyed, and Twilight's castle was partially destroyed. Outside of Rarity's boutique, "Oh, Rarity, this is awful what happened to your home. I'm not crying over my home being destroyed. That can be rebuilt. I can't believe Cream died. Spiky Poo, I am so sorry, darling. Cream would still be alive if she weren't working for me." Spike, crying, embraces Rarity. "Choo-choo. Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault, Rarity. Cream loved working for you, and she was at work just like any other day. The Changelings are the ones responsible for Cream's death, not you. She was an amazing girl, Spike. You two were so cute and happy together. It's just not fair that everything was taken away from the two of you. She was not only a valuable employee of mine, but she became a dear friend as well." "Spike is right, Sugar Cube. None of us knew the Changelings were going to attack Ponyville when they did. Every pony in town went on just like it was a normal day. You can't harbor any guilt over what they did."
"Yeah, I mean, look at us, Rarity. We all almost got blown to bits at Twilight's castle when the swarm attacked us while we were training. We could have easily died, but we were lucky enough to have been outside of Twilight's castle when it exploded. My point is that none of us had any control over this situation when it happened."
"I know, and thank you girls for helping me feel better. It's just not going to be the same without Cream around."
Choo-choo.
"Spike, how have you been doing these past couple of days?" "Sad, depressed, and incredibly heartbroken. I wish I could have gotten to her sooner. Maybe there would have been a chance for me to save her. At least I had the chance to tell her I loved her one last time. And I was able to say goodbye. I'll never forget her. Excuse me." Spike walks away from the group as he breaks down. "You know what? I think we've been here long enough. Twilight, you've been awfully quiet this morning. Is everything okay, darling?" Twilight fakes a smile. "Yeah, it's just I've had a lot on my mind these past couple of days. Seeing the aftermath of everything Seeing the aftermath of everything has been a surreal feeling, that's for sure. I believe we have all the pictures we need to give to Princess Celestia for the damage assessment she asked for. I'm sorry I'm not more talkative today. I really didn't sleep much last night." "You were thinking about Shadow, weren't you, Twilight?" "Yeah, as a matter of fact, he was the reason I couldn't sleep. I'm in love with him, and have been for a long time. I feel horrible that my kiss broke the spell Chrysalis had on him, but at the same time, I know I had to do it to save him. I don't know if that kiss had failed if I would have been able to use the elements of harmony on him." "I think you feel guilty because of Starlight." "I never meant to fall in love with Shadow, and I certainly had no intentions to betray Starlight. I can't help the way I feel about him. I know he isn't like Sonic, the lovable, loyal, kind, funny, and heroic Hedgehog, but deep down I know how good of a heart he has, and I love him for everything that makes him who he is. I've never met anyone like Shadow before."
"So what are you going to do, Twilight? You're not seriously thinking of breaking up Starlight and Shadow, are you?"
"I don't have to. Starlight already broke off the engagement with Shadow because she feels betrayed that her kiss didn't break the spell, and she blames him for the miscarriage yesterday." "Tell me Starlight doesn't know about your kiss with Shadow breaking the spell." Twilight shakes her head no. When I saw her briefly yesterday at the hospital, she didn't indicate that she knew my kiss is what broke Chrysalis's spell on Shadow. Are you still going to tell her, Twilight? Absolutely not. If Starlight ever found out the truth, there'll be hell to pay. She almost killed me a couple of times, and I've worked really hard getting her to reform from her old evil ways. You girls know just as much as I do how powerful and dangerous Starlight can be, and we don't need her as an enemy again. She's already heartbroken over losing her baby and breaking it off with Shadow. She doesn't need to know how Chrysalis's spell on Shadow was broken. We all need to agree on this right now.
I'm not proud of it, but I'd have to agree with Twilight about keeping this a secret.
I'm not agreeing to this. I'll keep the secret, but if Starlight ever asked me how the spell was broken, I'd have no choice but to tell her the truth. Sorry, Twilight, but I'm the element of honesty, and even if I weren't, you know as well as I do I'm incapable of lying. Fair enough, AJ.
Keeping secrets between friends is not a great way of keeping them, but in this case, I'll make an exception. I pinky promise.
I also agree. Keeping this secret from Starlight is what's best, not only for Twilight, but for the safety of Equestria as well. That leaves just you, Fluttershy.
I will keep your secret safe, Twilight. However, like Applejack, I am not capable of telling a lie either.
Meanwhile, Fluttershy's cottage. Chris and Tails attempting to put a new windshield on the X-Tornado. Tails, are you sure you're okay to be lifting this heavy windshield? I mean, you did suffer a concussion yesterday during the fight with Shadow. I'm fine, Chris. Chris and Tails slide the new plexiglass windshield into place on the X-Tornado. Cool, thanks, Tails. There's no way I could have done that by myself. Now all we have to do is seal it, and the X-Tornado will be as good as new. Amy walks out with hot chocolate and brings it over to Tails and Chris.
Hey, boys, it's pretty cold outside, so I brought you guys some hot chocolate.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, this is top-notch for sure. Amy hands them their hot chocolate.
Wow, you guys put the new windshield on pretty quick. Have you talked to Rarity yet about when you officially start working for her, Chris?
No, not yet, but I'll assume it won't be until next week. Honestly, with her home and boutique being destroyed here in Ponyville, I'm not even sure if I still have a job.
Let's hope that's not the case, because I really want to get an apartment with you soon, Chris.
What's so funny, Tails? Nothing. It's just I was starting to think how funny it is to see Amy taking charge with you, just like she tried to do with Sonic.
I'm not trying to take charge of Chris's life, Tails. Honestly, I make enough money where I don't need anyone as a roommate or to depend on anyone either.
She's right, Tails. I'm choosing to be her roommate because I want to. So in order for me to do that, I still need to have a job to help pay for things. Living with Amy is going to be awesome because we're such great friends. And besides, you and Fluttershy deserve privacy from Amy, just like Rainbow Dash and Sonic deserve their space from me. In the end, this benefits all 6 of us when you think about it. I think you two still kind of like each other, and that's why you want your own privacy. Chris hides his blushing by sipping on his hot chocolate.
I really want to smack you upside your head right now, Tails, but you already have a concussion. Chris and I are just friends. Unlike the rest of you, Chris actually cares about me and enjoys my company, and he makes me feel happy, safe, and secure. Personally, I can't think of anyone else who I'd want to be roommates with other than him.
I didn't mean anything bad by saying that. Honestly, I think the two of you are perfect for each other. Chris has always had a way of making you feel happy, Amy.
That's because Chris cares about his friends, and he treats me with respect, and genuinely listens and cares about me. How's the hot chocolate, Chris?
Chris smiles. It's actually delicious. Thanks for bringing it out and making it for us. To back up what Amy said, Tails, I'm actually very excited to have her as a roommate. I lived alone because I never needed a roommate, and with my job at my dad's company, I work so many hours that I never had time for a friendship either. So this is going to be a very nice change of pace. Aside from missing you guys, that's the real reason I left my planet to come here. I hated my life working for my dad's company because it was literally my entire life. I get it. I'm going to head inside to grab the window sealant from my workshop so we can seal this windshield into place. I'll be right back. Tails heads inside Fluttershy's cottage. Chris wraps Amy in his arms.
This feels nice. What's the occasion?
How are you holding up? I know Cream was your best friend. Amy, tearing up, breaks from Chris's embrace gently, but holds Chris's forearm as she sits down on a boulder. Chris sits next to her, sipping more hot chocolate.
My heart hurts. I not only lost my best friend, but she was like a sister to me. We've been through so much together that honestly I still haven't processed entirely the fact that she's gone forever. She was finally starting to live her life too, Chris. She had a great career and finally found the love of her life in Spike. She was putting it all together and building that solid foundation for her future. And just like that, she's gone.
Cream was an absolute sweetheart. I have truly never met anyone who was as warm-hearted, caring, and loyal as she was. Cream was always cheerful, and when a friend was down, she'd always be there to boost their spirits. She was truly amazing, and my heart is broken over her death too, Amy.
It's going to be hard tomorrow saying goodbye.
Amy breaks down into tears as she lays her head on Chris's shoulder. Chris tenderly wraps his arms around Amy and kisses her on the forehead.
Thanks for being here, Chris. At least I still have you.
And I promise I'm not going anywhere. Ponyville is my new home. The day moved quickly in Ponyville, and as the evening descended upon the town, a weary Princess Twilight Sparkle was sending her damage assessment report to Princess Celestia. Once that task was completed, Twilight began getting her den ready for Cream's memorial service. Elsewhere in Ponyville, Starlight Glimmer was released from Canterlot Royal Hospital and was exiting a train from Canterlot. The heartbroken mare walked home in tears over her miscarriage due to the fight with Chrysalis and her broken engagement with Shadow. Starlight continued walking home, feeling alone, angry, and empty. However, as Starlight reached her home, she was overtaken with sheer anger to see Shadow's silhouette through the curtains of their illuminated living room. Starlight uses her magic to open the front door. Starlight enters her home. What part of get out of my life didn't you understand? Starlight slams the door. Starlight, I love you and I refuse to give up on us. You are such a lying bastard. If you loved me, my kiss would have broken Chrysalis's spell. But guess what, Shadow? It didn't. After everything I've done for you, after all the love I've shown you, I tried to show you how much I love you yesterday by attempting to kiss you, to break the spell. And this is what I got from you in return. Showing Shadow her bruised face. That was compliments from your fist striking me. Starlight, I didn't know what I was doing. You know I never would have laid my hands on you like that, in my normal state. That's not the point, Shadow. The point is that you don't love me. My kiss failed, and as a result of that failure, you punched me. And at this point, I can't even tell you which one of those hurt more. I had no idea that you had been lying when you said you loved me. Why did you propose to me at all? I proposed to you because I love you, and we were having a baby together. I wanted you to know that I was committed to our relationship. For some reason, when you kissed me yesterday, I didn't feel love. I felt you trembling in fear. That's why your kiss had no effect in breaking the spell. Of course I was frightened. My fiancé was trying to kill me. I was trembling when I kissed you because I was scared for us. Regardless, I don't want to be around you right now. I've been through hell for the last week, and I certainly can't jump back into a relationship with you when I can't trust what comes out of your mouth. I need time to heal all the wounds that have been inflicted upon me over the past 5 days. I don't want or need you around to heal because you're part of the problem. Had you not been intoxicated during Sonic and Rainbow Dash's wedding, then maybe you would have been able to stop Chrysalis before she had the chance to abduct me. We lost our baby because you couldn't help me when Chrysalis broke into this house and attacked me. I've given you everything. I've saved your life. And the one time I needed you, you failed me. Please just get out of my house and out of my life, Shadow. Starlight uses her magic and opens the door. I'm sorry I failed you, Starlight. I love you. Whatever. Shadow exits the house. Starlight slams the door on Shadow. The next day, Twilight's castle. Everyone has gathered for Cream's memorial service except for Shadow. Starlight enters the den and stands in front of Cream's casket. After a minute or so, Starlight places her hoof on Cream's hands and walks away with tears streaming down her face. Starlight uses her magic to lift Spike up for a hug. Spike, I am so sorry for your loss. If there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks, and the same goes to you, too. I'm really sorry to hear about your baby, but I'm happy to see that you're still alive. Thanks, Spike. Starlight finds Twilight and walks over to her. Starlight, I didn't think you were going to make it. I'm really glad to see you. You really think I'm stupid, don't you? I beg your pardon? Of course I don't think you're stupid. Why would you ask that? So, where's Shadow? I thought for sure he'd come here after I threw his sorry ass out of my house last night. Starlight, you're angry, I get it. But you have no right coming into my castle during a funeral and insinuating whatever it is you're insinuating. I know it was you who broke that spell on Shadow. Some pony had to kiss him after Chrysalis was turned to stone. I guess it's safe to say you're Shadow's true love. Consider this my resignation as your manager of friendship relations. There's a laugher in itself, considering you don't even know what being a friend means. Look, Starlight, I only kissed him because I knew it would save him. If that kiss had failed, we would have had to use the elements of harmony on him. I promise I won't get in the way of your relationship. Oh, but you already have. My kiss didn't work because Shadow was in love with you. Congratulations, Twilight. Shadow is all yours, so he can come out from hiding now. I already told you he didn't come here. Shadow and I already talked about everything. You guys have a second chance if you'd only give it to him. He wants to work things out with you. It's far too late for a reconciliation for either one of you. I tried to kill you before for far less than what you've done here more recently, so I'd watch my back if I were you, Twilight. Oh well, c'est la vie, mon ami. Starlight gives a devilish smirk as she walks away from Twilight. Starlight exits the castle, Twilight in a state of shock as she walks over to her friends. That didn't look good, Twilight. She put two and two together and knows that my kiss broke Chrysalis's spell on Shadow. She just quit her job as my manager of friendship relations and threatened to kill me. I know she's angry with everything that's happened to her recently, but I had no idea she'd go off the deep end so quickly. Well, that was the reason why you wanted to keep your kiss with Shadow a secret to begin with. It doesn't take much to drive Starlight over the brink of insanity. I need time to fix this. I think if she sees that I'm not interested in Shadow, and I'm willing to help, maybe she'll eventually forgive me and calm down.
Oh, come on, Twilight. You know darn well you're interested in Shadow. How do you plan on not being interested now that their relationship is clearly over?
The damage has been done, Twilight. You may as well be with Shadow now because Starlight clearly has it out for you and has no intention of ever going back with Shadow. Let's face it, darling, Starlight, when she gets like this, is very dangerous. It wouldn't hurt to have Shadow around for protection.
Honestly, I think it's best if we just let Starlight calm down. She's been through some awful things over the past week alone. From being abducted and held prisoner by Chrysalis to being attacked by Shadow, her kiss not being able to break the spell on Shadow, losing her baby, and then coming to the realization that Shadow is in love with Twilight. Poor Starlight has been through so many heartbreaking things in a week. Can you blame her for being angry and vengeful?
Sonic and Silver walk over. Who's angry and vengeful?
Starlight figured out that it was Twilight's kiss that broke the spell on Shadow, and she threatened to kill Twilight before she left.
That's because she doesn't understand what's going on. Twilight's kiss saved Shadow's life.
We all know that, but Starlight doesn't see it that way. So what are we gonna do? We can't just stand by and not do anything to try and ease the tensions. The last time Twilight and Starlight got into a fight, it almost destroyed the whole planet.
Well, I'm not going to let that happen. Sonic bolts out of Twilight's castle and chases after Starlight. Sonic catches up to Starlight. What do you want, Sonic? Do you mind if I walk with you for a minute? Sure, why not? You're going to anyway. I know you're angry and hurt by everything you've gone through this past week, but that doesn't give you the right to threaten to kill Twilight. Have you seen Ponyville since you've come back? What does Ponyville have to do with anything? Look around you, Starlight. The war with the changelings affected all of us. Twilight's castle was half destroyed, and Rarity's home was completely wiped off of equestrian soil. Cream died in that explosion at Rarity's when the changelings attacked. Believe me when I tell you, Twilight did everything she could to try and figure out how to save you and your unborn child. And you don't think there's anything wrong with Twilight being in love with Shadow? Shadow wrecked my relationship with Amy, so you know where I stand when it comes to being betrayed like that. In actuality, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it allowed me to find real love with Rainbow Dash. I know this is hard for you to understand, because you were at the hospital when Twilight kissed Shadow, breaking the spell on him, but had that kiss failed, like yours did, Twilight and her team would have had to use the elements of harmony to stop Shadow. I don't give a damn why she did it, Sonic. The kiss worked because Shadow and Twilight are in love with each other. The only reason Twilight kissed him is because she knew that kiss would save Shadow, and quite possibly our lives too. Twilight already said she has no interest in pursuing Shadow, and from what I know from Shadow's end is that he wants to fix things with you. I think you and Shadow need some time apart, but I also believe you're the girl he's destined to be with. Shadow has changed so much because of you over the years. It'd be a shame if you let Chrysalis beat you like that. Tell Twilight and Shadow I said rotten hell. Starlight uses her magic and disappears. Sonic shakes his head and heads back to Cream's funeral. Cream's memorial service continued on without any further drama or interruption. However, during the service, our heroes couldn't help but wonder if Starlight's threats were real or the product of misplaced anger. As the memorial service concluded, the funeral and burial portion began outside of Twilight's castle. Good afternoon, everyone. A couple of days ago, Ponyville came under attack by one of Chrysalis's changeling swarms. Up to date, it is the worst tragedy in Ponyville's history. 26 innocent lives were lost during that battle, and one of the innocent lives lies beside me in this coffin. Her name was Cream the Rabbit, and she was quite possibly the most sweet, caring, and loving beings I have ever met. Her gentle and happy spirit was always infectious, whether it were here at the castle, out and about in town, or simply working at Rarity's Carousel Boutique here in Ponyville. Cream always had a way of being able to make you smile just by saying hello. The fact is, I know with certainty Cream was already family, and it breaks my heart my son Spike lost the love of his life, a love in which I fully approved of and gave my blessings to. Cream's death should serve us all as a reminder to not take any moment in life for granted, because even the most innocent of souls can be taken by the injustices of evil. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today. The special thing about Cream was, from the moment I met her and said hello, she made me feel special without even realizing she had done anything. Cream loved everyone and never meant harm to anyone. One of my favorite things to do with Cream was just going for walks around town and having ice cream together. I want to apologize for the damage I caused when I turned into a 200-foot-tall monster and nearly destroyed Ponyville. The truth is that Cream died in my arms, and it filled me with such heartache, anger, and rage that my body couldn't handle it, and that's why I transformed. I loved Cream so much that my rage took over me when she died. I can't do this right now. Spike walks away crying and heads into the castle to gather himself. Twilight follows Spike into the castle. Do you want to talk about it, Spike?
No, I'm just shattered, and honestly, I'm at a loss for words at the moment. You really liked Cream, didn't you?
Spike, as your mother, I always want what's best for you, and in my opinion, it doesn't get any better than Cream. I didn't like Cream. I loved her too, Spike. I saw how happy and in love you two were, and it gave me happiness seeing how happy she made you. Spike embraces Twilight.
Thanks, Twilight. You're the best Mama Dragon could ever ask for.
I love you, Spike. You have such a great heart. Please continue to share it, and don't give up on love. Shadow sitting on the stairs.
Hello, Twilight.
Shadow?
Do you have a second so we can talk?
For you, always.
I'll leave you two alone. Thanks for being here to comfort me, Twilight.
That's what a mother does, Spike. Remember, I'm here if you need me. Spike smiles and heads back outside.
Rough day?
That doesn't even begin to describe it. Starlight knows about our kiss and how it broke Chrysalis' spell on you.
You have my word that I'm not the one who told her.
She figured it out because she knew Chrysalis wasn't killed by the elements of harmony. I don't know how serious I should take her death threat to me.
Starlight threatened to kill you?
Pretty much. Shadow, as much as it kills me to say this, I think it's in the best interest that you try and fix things with Starlight.
It's not gonna happen. I broke her trust and her heart. She wants nothing to do with me, and I can't say that I blame her. It's hard to be with someone when they know you love someone else.
Boy, does this ring a bell.
It's you that I want, Twilight. I love you, and I've been in love with you since the day we broke up that riot in Baltimore. I've tried so hard to fight my love off for you, and I stayed with Starlight out of obligation, especially after we found out about our baby. I thought if I ignored my feelings for you, they'd eventually dissipate, but that never happened. And now that Starlight and I are over, I can't help but tell you again. I love you, Princess Twilight Sparkle.
Oh, Shadow, I love you too. Twilight and Shadow come together for a kiss. Yeah, sorry about the Christmas stuff, guys. I released this episode during Christmas. Originally.